5, seeking a third consecutive win for the first time in 2010. And they're running nicely into form again as the playoffs loom. They were disappointing in the final series last year, and they are very keen to put the record straight. But Wigan, well, Huddersfield are out there and Wigan are still in the classroom. They won the Challenge Cup in 2002. They've had a very barren time since. No team has ever climbed from 6th to 1st in 12 months before, but this Wigan team can achieve that in 2010. They've not played in front of these supporters for almost a month. July the 16th, they lost 16 points to 23 to Warrington. It was Michael Maguire's last match in charge. He's now back from his father's funeral, a sad occasion, and he's here to see his men clinch the League Leaders' Shield, he hopes. Well, they've beaten Huddersfield twice this year already. They know how to get on top of the Giants. That was at Murrayfield and at the Gal Farm. But they would be wise today, and he will have told them that, and so too will Sean Wayne, just going through the picture there. He will have told them to take nothing for granted. They're keeping Huddersfield waiting. It's a good job it's a dry night, it's a warm night. This is crazy, Steve-O. Huddersfield have been out there for about 3 minutes.
Yeah, as you said, it's pretty warm out there, so quite a few of them just trying to get into the shade, keep out of it. Thomas Luluai leading them out, and there's a man that perhaps could just turn this game. The tall figure of the winger, Pat Richards. In tight games, and I expect this to be very tight indeed. Huddersfield having some great players coming back, Luke Robinson and Brett Hodgson. I think that it may come down to just the kicking game. Who is more accurate with the 2 points?
Don't shout too loud, Steve-O. You've got 80 minutes to go with that throat. The old boy is on some antibiotics, but he is battling through the pain barrier.
Thank you for that, Eddie. Yeah. I think I've been battling through the pain barrier for 20 years.
Fantastic sight, the Wigan ground in shirt-sleeve order tonight. Summer's returned in the middle of August, thank goodness for that. Phil, what do you make of this switch for Robinson and Brough on the Huddersfield side? You've been looking in the record, it has happened before.
Yes, it has actually. Robinson played scrum half and Danny Brough at hooker when they played against Leeds just, 3 games back in the Super League. And they lost, of course, that night, narrowly 21-20 at Leeds. But I think it's taken quite some time for Nathan Brown, the coach, to decide just how best to use Danny Brough and Luke Robinson in the starting side. He has a plethora of hookers. He's got Sean Lunt, who started the season as the #1 hooker, sitting on the bench here tonight. David Fayum, who's also played that role at an international level. So the key position around behind the play of the ball. Be interesting to see just how Danny Brough operates there today.
Well, we're going to be keeping everybody waiting. They came out, they grouped together, they had a chat, and they've been very slow to put the ball on the tee. But now Pat Richards will get this game underway, and in 80 minutes will Wigan finish up as league leaders of 2010 going into the playoffs.
Well, the Giants will not just lie down, that is for sure. They've got a decent record here against Wigan, and as I said, the inclusion of Brett Hodgson, that really is a huge lift for their coach Nathan Brown.
And so the man that has just played the ball, David Farlongo, he has missed the last 7. That also could be a massive lift for Nathan Brown and his team. It's Huddersfield in possession, and Brown with a kick down the line, looking for David Hodgson. The bounce was just a bit too high.
Great tactics, though. They realised that Price had come in. He was on the sliding defence. There was a huge gap. He'd be disappointed with that, Nathan Brown, because the tactics were superb. Look where Price was. It was open run.
It's not going to be the first time or the last time, Eddie, that they will, not be the last time, sorry, I should say, that they'll kick. What Huddersfield do more than most sides is kick the ball behind the line very often, and they'll also do a lot of runarounds, a traditional play that they brought back into the game with great effect.
Just noticing there as that scrum packed down, Danny Brough, who affected the tackle, was standing at scrum half. Mind you, Luke Robinson wasn't packing down at hooker either, so it's just numbers on the backs, it's just personalities, and we'll see how it all pans out. This is Andy Coley now for the Wigan Warriors, and he's spun to the ground. We're watching the 2 best defences here. Michael Maguire's Wigan, one of the best, in fact the best, and soon behind them, quickly behind them, Huddersfield.
And Coley has lost possession. Knock on in a wonderful position as well. Oh, that'll be a bitter disappointment for Michael Maguire, the Warriors coach. Yeah, there's a few things you got to look at. The one thing that Huddersfield have to avoid, Luke Robinson and Danny Brough don't get in each other's way, because what they do is they try to control things. I would hope that Nathan Brown will have one on the right side and one on the left.
Luke Robinson, one of 5 former Wigan players in this Huddersfield team tonight. Lee Gilmore, David Hodgson, Kevin Brown and Stephen Wild are the others. So they have maybe points to prove, although they've done that many times in the past. And Brough with the first attempt at a 40-20, but he didn't quite get the angle right with that.
Just came off the side of the boot. The way he's got him in good field position.
Early signs, Brian, are that Carl Price is in for a busy night.
Well, they'll keep him aware. What that early kick from Kevin Brown did in the first set of the game, it put you on red alert. And it's disconcerting to play on the wing there and know that they could be peppering you with these little kicks at any time in the tackle count. It'll really mean Carl Price will have to be alert to his game. Putting Danny Brough in at hooker, it gives him an interesting and very dangerous option of being able to kick out of dummy half. We see some players do it. It's a very, very effective kick, especially when they try and go for a 40-20, to jump out of dummy half and kick.
Certainly when they pack down, Danny Brough is not playing in the front row.
No, in fact, Mason went in as hooker on that occasion. Brough was half-back. So it's ducks and drakes early in this game.
This is O'Loughlin, Sean O'Loughlin of Wigan, key figure this year for them. Their only survivor of the last grand final in 2003. And that's Harrison Hansen, I think, in the head guard on that far side. Oh, he nearly lost that ball, but he managed just to plonk it on the deck and play it properly. Here is Luluai. This now is Stephen Marsh. Good on his feet, great on his feet, Stephen Marsh, great on his feet. David Hodgson in the end, the man who came down to put him to ground. Last tackle here for Wigan, it's with Luluai, and that's charged down, and he'll wipe the tackle count down again. Riddell retains possession.
Boy,
6 to go.
Look for a moment there that Mark Riddell was struggling to get back to that ball. It was a good charge down. Luluai really should have got that away a bit quicker.
It's Coley for the Wigan Warriors now. His 350th career appearance tonight, Andy Coley. There's Riddell, Luluai and Deacon, and wide it goes. Tompkins, wider still to Richards. Pat Richards, so close to his 26th try of the campaign. Now it's Harrison Hansen again. Clawed to the ground over on that far side. Luke Robinson in there very quickly. Michael Lawrence as well. It's Paul Deacon with a crossfield kick, looking for the figure of Carl Price. Carl Price has got it! And Carl Price, he has a remarkable scoring record in this Wigan side. Wing for the previous 8 after missing the last 6. Darryl Goulding out tonight, a late withdrawal, and he just reached above them all then, Carl Price, and touchdown. On the wing for those 8 games, he scored 12 tries in them. So this fella knows where the whitewash is. And Carl Price has just come up with his 10th try of the campaign. Great start for Wigan.
Here's a charge down. They had the opportunity, as I say. Mark Riddell, real struggle to get to it. Put his body on the line, got himself into a position. Beautiful kick, though, by Deacon. Such a talent, isn't he? Well, they said they were going to pepper a man called Carl Price. He said, well, let me show you what I can do as well. They'll pepper on this side, and his name is Hodgson, and he comes up trumps. Great try.
24 years of age, Carl Price. Been out of the side since June, and that's a career 50th try for him, by the way. Carl Price. Little milestone of more importance, though. It puts Wigan within touching distance of that league leader shield. They have the lead, and they have the best kicker in the business this year, lining up for what he hopes will be his 125th successful kick of the campaign. And he's missed it. 4-0 though, Wigan.
Pretty solid start by the Warriors as well. Very, very confident indeed. It's he knows that he's going to be peppered, but he knows he has the quality as well. He's got plenty of height. See, he goes at the right moment. Was there maybe an interference in Hodgson with a Wigan player? Either way, Phil Bentham didn't go upstairs for the screen.
You know what, Steve? The significant play in that set as well. Well done to Carl Price, grounding that ball, did very well. The significant play was the set-up when Wigan shifted the ball to the left-hand side and put Pat Richards through a little bit of a gap. Really stretched the Huddersfield defence. Keep an eye out for how well Wigan set up in attack when they get near the opposition line.
Coley will drive the ball forward again for Wigan. Huddersfield, they face Salford at home and the Catalan Dragons away in their remaining 2 fixtures after this. Hulkingston Rovers, who have won today, they face Wigan next weekend at Craven Park, and then they travel to the Crusaders, who of course is in the race for 5th and 6th place in the Engage Super League table. This is a penalty conceded by Stephen Wild, the first penalty of the match to Wigan.
I warned you at scrum previously, okay, as a team, if you're lifting the leg, you've got to be aware what.
Well, they tried to lift the legs, and I suppose you could say the legs did go just slightly over the horizontal against the rules of the game. Touch judge was very quick to alert Phil Bentham. This will be more pressure, something that you know, Wigan have started pretty well this season, and their ability to get that ball out wide, so speedy. It's good to watch.
Wigan win here. It's the top of the table sorted. The race continues for 2nd and 3rd between St Helens and Warrington. It's just Warrington's at the moment, courtesy of 2 extra points on the points for and against. It's between Hull and Leeds for 4th and 5th, between Hull KR and Huddersfield for 6th and 7th, and between Castleford and the Crusaders for 8th. It's a great race this year. Here is O'Loughlin. This is Luluai, now Deacon. Oh, it bounced off the chest of Harrison Hansen.
He should have gone out wide, and it went right into Hansen's chest. They had the overlap. Look at that. Watch it. Oh, you're in the way. The winger had come right out of it. Leroy Cudjoe, you see Lawrence there. That was try, just thrown out the window, and he knows it. Move your arms, mate. He knows it too.
Michael Maguire on the right, Sean Wayne on the left, and the coaching duo at Wigan this year proved very successful. They have Wigan on the verge of this league leaders title, the league leaders shield. So important that the team finishes at the top of the pile after the weekly rounds, because invariably the team finishing top gets to Old Trafford. Good defence from Wigan now on David Failongo. He is a threat, the New Zealand international. Plays the ball there to Danny Brough. No way through for Leroy Cudjoe, so it's Brough again. Little scamper from dummy half. That was an awful attempt by Darryl Griffin.
Well, I'm sure Eddie Huddersfield know that Wigan are the best team to start in 10-minute matches of games this season. And what they're doing at the moment is they're making them look even better, turning the ball over inside their own half. They've conceded a penalty on the last tackle, and they're making this task here of another 3rd consecutive victory in Wigan even more difficult than it was before they started.
Tompkins, oh, great shimmy, and Tompkins has got Hansen.
Should be a penalty, it is. Hansen was held back.
Michael Lawrence, the culprit.
10-minute sin bin's got to be.
Well, Tommy Luluai was asking for that. You don't like to see that. Let the referee make the decision.
Beautiful play though, wasn't it? But oh, he's got to go for that. I'm sorry.
It's a try-scoring situation.
Yeah.
I'm amazed that isn't a Simba.
Absolutely.
I'm with you, Phil.
But we don't need players trying to recommend 10 to the referee.
No, we don't, but the referee shouldn't really need to be told by the player about that. Here is Luluai now. This is Tompkins with a brand new hairstyle for this match. He's got even more wind ability there. There's not much on top anymore.
Oh, it's a mistake by Fielden.
Loose carry. Robinson has it back for Huddersfield.
Squeezed out. Which is a problem with Stuart Fielden from time to time. We've often mentioned it, that he utilises the ball carrying arm to try to force his way through. You see it there, but it was a good impact wanted by Mason. That really got the shoulder in.
Big hit by Keith Mason. Fielden gets back in the defensive line. He topped the table with Bradford in 1999, 2001 and 2003. Would love to do so again here as he gets off the tackle player. Keith Mason, who forced the error from him. Love to do it again here in 2010. Riddell with the tackle on Robinson. Brough. Angled kick.
Not a good one, though.
Straight to Pat Richards.
I'm not so sure that his own players out on that right-hand side anticipated that.
Eddie, what's amazing in this first 11 minutes is the territorial advantage that Wigan have had. Nearly all of the players have been in the right half of the field, and it's remarkable. Huddersfield haven't had the ball outside their own half, and they're going to have to defend for 6 more tackles here. Penalty for holding down on Pat Richards.
Well, 2 of the teams we're seeing here, Phil, who are very, very adept at the wrestling tactic. 3 men in the tackle, wrestling the opposition to the ground. And Phil Bentham will be well aware of that, won't he?
Well, they will at the moment, but it's just Wigan's superior play, isn't it? They're moving the ball well. There's 3 men in that tackle, so there's not necessarily a massive difference in the time of the play of the ball. Wigan just playing far better.
Could have been judged forward, that pass to O'Loughlin from Riddell at that play of the ball.
Yeah, it looked to be a half a metre in front. He's lost it. That'll be a knock-on.
O'Loughlin with the mistake this time. And he looks at the referee as much as to say, well, do you really think that that ball would have been dropped like that had there not been a hand in there?
Well, I think maybe through his mind, the loose forward might be saying to himself, well, I think I might have been in forward.
It's his old mate Stephen Wild.
Justice done there anyway, isn't it, really? It looked like a forward pass, didn't it?
Sam, stay in. Okay.
It's head and feed to Huddersfield at the scrum. Say we are watching the 2 best defences in Super League. Huddersfield 68 tries conceded, Wigan 67.
But I think, Eddie, when we talk about that, sometimes it deflects what Wigan have done when attacking this year. Already they've scored almost 200 points more than they did last season, and there's still 3 games to go in this year. They've played entertaining rugby, and we have a lot of people have said Wigan's defence is strong, they hold their opponents back, but they've been scintillating at times in attack.
Yes, they have. They can score tries, there's no doubt about that.
Well, that's the reason why they're on top, isn't it? Simple as that.
Hodgson.
I looked to touch forward slightly as well.
Graham Horne finds Lee Gilmore, he finds David Hodgson. That's good defence from Stephen Marsh. Leeson out, he's been recalled from his loan spell at Widnes. Stephen Marsh. Here is Hodgson, short ball to Mason. That was telegraphed to Darryl Griffin, I beg your pardon. That has
big red cross
all over it.
Yeah. Biggest problem for the Giants is the fact that they're not playing like Giants.
That's a great kick, though. That's a great kick and wonderful play from Horne. Price gets to the rescue, though, for the Wigan Warriors. Brough was hunting that.
First real chance to put the pressure on.
Acrobatic kick ahead by Horne.
Was it ever?
Didn't see any of this yesterday, did you? They lost 4-0 to Blackpool.
Dave Whelan will love you.
He doesn't employ me anymore.
Oh, so you can say what you like now then, eh? Yeah, great start for Blackpool in the Premier League yesterday on this ground against the Wigan Athletic side. Oh, Tompkins! Wonderful footwork. Passes it to Richards. He's in support as well as Tompkins. Richards just pushed off it by Cudjoe.
He should have offloaded.
Someone's on his way to the bin. It's Kevin Brown.
He was taken out.
Kevin Brown has got 10 minutes in the sin bin. I think he took Tompkins out, or was it a trip?
He's called it a trip, Eddie. Could be in a bit of trouble for that if it's a trip.
Great play. Look at those feet, but they did go high, didn't they? Richards really should have offloaded just about now.
He takes him out. He takes him out without the ball.
Ankle tap. It's not as bad as using the leg. But certainly deserved 10 minutes in the sin bin. Well, they're in all sorts of trouble with the Giants at the moment. And I think they'll pay the price here.
That's a pretty cynical foul.
4th penalty to Wigan. Huddersfield have yet to have one. Stuart Fielden is having words with Graham Horne, and Mason's involved. Mason came in and took exception to whatever was going on between Fielden and Horne, and it's really started something.
Has it ever?
Well, players have to be punished for that, Eddie. We can't allow that to happen in the sport.
Well, remember Murrayfield. Remember Murrayfield.
Yeah, there's a backlash here. When these teams have played against one another, there's been a battle to be who can be the most aggressive player on the field. There's blood on Stuart Fielden.
Like it's a scratched face he's got.
To be fair, Stuart Fielden got up and then started talking to the referee.
I mentioned Murrayfield. You remember when Sean O'Loughlin took out, was it Luke Robinson?
Yeah,
at Murrayfield, and
yeah.
afterwards,
have a look
Nathan
here.
Brown said
Keith Mason stands on Stuart Fielden. Have a look at this.
Yeah, but
Have
Stuart Fielden should have gone on.
Have a look at Keith Mason stamp on Stuart Fielden's leg. Fielden gets up and thinks it's Griffin, and Mason comes in. Have a look. Go back. If that goes back a bit, you'll see Mason stamp on Fielden's leg.
Did you see anything in the initial tackle?
He thinks it's Graham Horn, is that the claim?
I think so, Phil. I think so. You've got to go back to the start of the tackle and watch what happens to Fielden.
You've got to go back to Murrayfield. Well, Nathan Brown said if anything kicked off in future and what some of the big Wigan players picked on some of his players, he'd expect the big Huddersfield players to take the matter into their own hands. That's where that's from.
Watch Mason get up. Unless I've seen this wrong, watch Mason.
Yeah.
That's why.
Well spotted.
That's why.
Yeah, he's had a go at him.
And he's in the sin bin. Keith Mason, the touch judge and the referee have seen all that. And Fielden wants to get at Mason again here. I thought he had scratches on his face at one stage, Fielden, but it's obviously stud marks on the ankle.
Look, they're big guys. Let them go at him, but there was something cynical in there.
Yeah, we can do without this. That's shocking.
That's not tough.
No, that's ridiculous.
That could have broken his ankle, you know.
Yeah.
Could have done.
He might have split his sock, Eddie. I don't think there was much pressure to him.
Well, I tell you what, Phil, lie down. I'll just stamp on you. Let's see how you get on.
I think the pain threshold for these players, Eddie, is a lot harder than somebody standing on his ankle.
Now they're calming him down. They're going to calm this big fella down.
Chris Radlinski's doing his best.
Yeah, it's been badly done to, that's what he'll be saying to him, but it's doing the team no good, no favours.
Well, Mason and Fielden are sat within 35.
Fast forward, get them back on the field.
Maguire's having a word, and so is Sean Wayne. Fielden's got the headphones on, and the coach is having a word in his ear. Calm down. Just calm things down. You're doing us no favours getting involved in all of that.
Well, it might be a good idea for him to come down and
Sean Wayne tell him to calm down.
Yeah, just say, hey, come on. You know it's a tough game, but you've got to concentrate, do your job. Well, Huddersfield, how are they going to repel them? How are they going to keep them out now?
Well, they're about five or six seats away from each other at one stage, Mason and Fielden. Now Fielden is on the bike, keeping the adrenaline pumping in another way. Wigan have got the ball back meanwhile. Look, I've lost count. Wigan have got 12 and Huddersfield have got 11. Is that right? Here's a penalty now for Wigan, not standing square at the play of the ball. It's Huddersfield's first penalty of the match.
And I think the referee had it was open. It was going to be an easier game than this. I thought it would be more straightforward, but I don't think that's going to be the case. Look,
it gives him the I'm okay. I'm okay. Get me back out there.
Let's hope they both go back on at the same time.
You're a masochist, Clark. That's your
That's what a lot of people have paid to watch. Good, fair, disciplined play. I'm not saying illegal play, Eddie.
It'll be interesting when Mason here and Fielden, and there he is, when they both get back on the field together.
Look, sometimes things boil over, Eddie, and look, you probably don't want to see it in every game punching, but things happen. It's just the little cynical stuff that you want to rule out of the game.
You did well to spot that. Mind you, the touch judge did as well. He obviously saw something. You all got it spot on. This is Robinson. So it is 11 men of Huddersfield against 12 of Wigan at the moment. Brough for Huddersfield.
This is important now for the Giants to ensure that they camp down there. Try to get a second set, maybe even a third set of 6 if they can.
It's very confrontational in the forwards. Because we saw Andy Coley here. There was a bit of a forearm in the throat of Coley, and he didn't like that.
Well, it's spicy, that's for sure.
Third time they've met, they've played at Murrayfield, where there was all that nonsense going on, and it was also, of course, at the Gal Farm Stadium. It's just 2 weeks after that.
And that was a great game, Eddie. 6 tries apiece, only goal kicking separates the difference. Another mistake here by Sean O'Loughlin. Great tackle by David Furlongo, though.
He's massive for them, Furlongo.
And it's the first time here Huddersfield are going to start with the ball close to Wigan's line. Look at that. Has he stripped it? Probably should be a penalty, doesn't it? He rips the ball out. There are 2 men in that tackle. It's one of the difficulties with this sport here, how you adjudicate on that instantly from a refereeing point of view.
I think the referee wants a little word in the ear of Andy Coley as well. He's just called him.
It's a smart move as well by Bentham. He knows things are getting spicy, hot. Come on, fellas, just calm it down.
Yeah. Are we all settled now? He says to the front row of Huddersfield, turns around, asks Wigan the same question. Are we all settled?
Well refereed.
Ouch.
And here is Leroy Cudjoe for the Huddersfield Giants. Well, it's spicy. It's 19 minutes in the making, and the pot is boiling. Furlongo. Big hit by Coley, that.
No prisoners are taken now, I'll tell you. Oh, he gets up and there's plenty of verbals going on out there.
Here's Hodgson, gives it to Robinson. Now it's Gilmore. David Hodgson. Good tackling by Carl Price. He offered David Hodgson the touchline, and the touchline was Carl Price's best friend.
Great defence. It's all about position. There you go. See if you can beat me. No, you can't. Simple as that. Great stuff.
God, he's a big human, isn't he? He mightn't be the quickest off the ground. I know he's no slouch, but them big long legs when they get going. Dave Hodgson, he's a good finisher, David Hodgson. Carl Price has done very well to drag him down.
He is a good finisher. He's got 23 tries this season, David Hodgson, equal with Darryl Goulding. Just a couple behind Pat Richards.
You know, it was quite good skill from Huddersfield to almost create the overlap, Brian, when they're a man short in attack.
Absolutely, and they can do that, Phil. They can attack very, very well and very structured.
Five men each in the scrum, with players in the sin bin.
One, move, back up, Brett, come on, go.
Pat Richards plays the ball. Here is Carl Price, moved into the middle of the park now.
The one advantage, of course, that Wigan have is that 2 wingers, every time that Huddersfield try to elect to kick out wide, they're so tall, aren't they? Great advantage. Both wingers today, both over 6 foot.
You say Tompkins looks full of it. Doing their best to try and slow him down. Deacon, Luluai. Pace now from Joel Tompkins. Supporters inside from Deacon. He's not as quick as he used to be. They've lost it. They've blown it.
It's a knock-on.
He's furious, Stuart Fielden.
He knows they've blown it as well.
Well, Paul Deacon isn't as quick as he once was.
And he knows it as well. He was looking to see who was going to be there. When
he had Paul Deacon or Big Feka Paliasina on his inside. Take your pick.
Yeah. Throw the dummy and go on your own. I think Deacon would have suggested.
Let's go down to Bill.
Eddie, I'm sitting just a few feet away from Stuart Fielden. Not much further away is Keith Mason. Fielden has been on that bike and pedalling like a maniac. I reckon he'd have won the Tour de France by now if it got wheels on that thing. And just can't wait for the moment when those two enter the arena again. I think Kevin Brown will be on before them very shortly for the Giants, and so too, by the look of things, will Earl Crabtree, and that will just ignite things a little bit more.
Huddersfield then get the penalty because that was round the throat by Harris and Hansen.
And that's silly play. They know that they've got their opposition on the rack. And Nathan Brown will be quite happy to be looking at the scoreboard. 4-0, that's all. When Wigan have just completely blitzed their opposition.
There's Mason in the background, there's Fielden, and also down there, by the way, is Paul Anderson, the assistant coach of the Huddersfield Giants, who is one of the former awesome foursome at the Bradford Bulls. The referee's having another, there he is, Paul Anderson, having a word by the looks of things with Nathan Brown in the stand, and Brett Hodgson has been warned by the referee, who already has 2 Huddersfield men in the bin.
He was an awesome sight in his day, charging the ball, Paul Anderson. 27 stone, I think.
He wasn't a bad goal kicker either, if I remember.
No, he got one, didn't he? At the end, yeah.
He hates to be reminded of that, as I know from the Man of Steel ceremony last year.
Go.
I think he gave me a knee in the thigh when I mentioned it. Nearly took me off the stage.
Wait. Go.
Here is Brough. This is Robinson. Now it's David Hodgson. And Leroy Cudjoe, but that's good defence from Wigan, but he gets the ball away to Hodgson. Hodgson to Graham Horn. Can't pierce this defence though, and he's lost it.
Oh, knock on at a vital moment as well. Nathan Brown is furious. To be fair though, the Wigan's defence is very strong. They're getting out of the blocks very much. Did Hansen get a hand to that? Perhaps he did. It's one of those games, it's going to be a bit scrappy.
Okay, lads.
You know, they've got bust a few times in this opening 23 minutes, but they're only 4 points down, Huddersfield, so you have to say their scramble defence has been pretty good, especially with 2 men off the field.
Move. Hold. Go.
Now big Pekka Paliasina, who is rumoured to be on his way out of Wigan come the end of the season, with Jeff Lima on his way here from the Melbourne Storm. Luluai to Harrison Hansen.
Well, Wigan Eddie made a change. George Carman seems to have come off, and Joel Tompkins gone over to the left centre position. So that's quite a big difference here as they shift it wide now.
That'll be obstruction.
Which should have been. The referee put the whistle to his mouth and didn't blow.
Move.
Well, why on earth did he not blow it? He definitely used one of his own players.
Tewson to Deacon. Here is Tompkins.
5. Move. Hold. Go. 5.
Well, I know he went through, but he prevented the man getting to the...
Deacon's kick downfield.
Not the best, but good positioning though.
And you know, with only 11 men on the field, the blue shirts have really spread out, and they've covered the field very, very well in that period. Having 2 men off should really signify some big gaps somewhere, but they haven't made them obvious to Wigan, and at the moment they're still only 4 points down.
And just about a minute remaining of Kevin Brown's spell in the sin bin. He's waiting to come back on, and about a minute or so after that we'll see the return of Fielden and Mason. This is Robinson. Gilmore. Very difficult defence to pierce, isn't it, Wiggins?
It certainly is, and we haven't seen anything of Lee Gilmore at all, and that gives you some indication how well that Wigan's defence works hard in the middle of the field.
Tompkins at full-back, picks it up near his own sideline, and well, good chase from Luke Robinson and Simon Finnegan. This is Carl Price again. Brown is back on the field, so 12 play 12 now. There are still 2 men in the bin. There's Brown.
Wait. Go. 3.
Luluai, Paliasina, high-stepping run.
Move.
Good tackle by Stephen Wild, very low indeed, and that's what they've got to do all throughout this game.
Harrison Hansen goes down. Mason waiting now. He's wanting to come back on. Fielden wanting to come back on.
He's clear. 10 lads, 10.
It'll be a tremendous achievement by Huddersfield this, to have survived with 11 men, not having conceded anything else. 4-0, the Carl Price try after 5 minutes, 20 minutes ago.
Spot on, Eddie. As I said, Nathan Brown will be saying, look, we have not really got into the swing of things. I mean, to lose one of their key players for 10 minutes in Kevin Brown, that didn't help the cause.
2.
They're going to leave Keith Mason on the bench for the time being, because Earl Crabtree is the man who comes on to take his place. Mason stays where he is. And Fielden has returned, of course.
Again, look at that wonderful defence by Wigan.
Move. Hold. Go. 4.
They're having a devil of a job getting over. That's the first time really that they've had an impact, and he's certainly done that, Earl Crabtree.
Well, Crabtree's appearance means that is an interchange option used by Nathan Brown, because oops, there's a collision there. That's going to be a penalty. Robinson ran straight at Sam Tompkins. To be fair, both of them are looking upwards. It's obstruction. But the fact of the matter is, when Crabtree replaced Mason and Mason stayed on the bench, that is an interchange option by Nathan Brown. So he's got one less. It was about time that Crabtree came on anyway, I suppose.
Oh, well, that was stupid what we've just witnessed there. The ball being kicked away. Sam Tompkins went to try to pick it up, try to get the penalty away, and watch this. Oh, it's childish.
Stephen Wild, I think.
Hold. Wait. Go.
And that only just irritates the players even more. He's got to be very careful as Phil Bentham.
Move.
Keep an eye on this. Get them back as far as he can. Required 10 is needed.
2.
Because it's still simmering out there.
Wait. Go.
Luluai gives it to Deacon. Deacon then to Hansen. Hansen, lateral, now straightens it up. Stands, any support? Couldn't get it away. Crabtree was all over him. Oh, that looked painful as Wild went in on Hansen then as he was semi-prone. Fielden.
Listen to the crowd.
The punch-up has certainly fired Stuart Fielden up. Tewson, back he comes to O'Loughlin. Here is Sam Tompkins. Stephen Marsh.
Good play by David Hodgson. He had to. He just picked him out. He knew as Marsh was coming on that second phase.
Price has got Danny Brough here.
It's Deacon. Wide it goes. Looking for Pat Richards. Oh, it's fumbled by Leroy Cudjoe. It's 6 to go for Wigan. And it's now Joel Tompkins who's lost it. So what will the referee's decision be here? First knock on or second? I think he gave advantage. I think he's given advantage to Wigan.
I think he'll give Huddersfield the... No, it looks as though he's going to give it to Wigan.
They passed the ball, didn't they?
They passed the ball, advantage is the... There's the knock on.
Now then Richards.
Richards, as he passed this.
No. Yes, he tried to as an attempted pass.
That should be the other way around. And to be fair to Phil Bentham,
it's not too late for the video referee to inform him. We so often see that happen.
The thing is, Phil,
not allowed.
You could see that Phil Bentham was asking somebody for some advice.
Well, it was a touch, Judge. You must have been asking, because you cannot. They cannot get involved, as I understand it. The video referees. Remember Murrayfield? No, Cardiff, first year. Knock on by O'Loughlin.
He took his eyes off the football at the crucial moment.
You know, Eddie, I'm wondering whether Wigan, it's over 2 weeks since they last played a game. Now, I suspect they've been away sharpening the sword and getting ready for the final games and even the playoffs after that. But there's no doubt that the concentration and focus has been taken off slightly, and it will take them a while to build up. Both teams aren't at what they can play at. They're not close to the best tonight.
We've seen that George Carmont's off the field. Bill's news of him.
Yeah, it's disrupted Wigan a bit, that has. And Carmont has got apparently a very bad cut on his hand. It sounds like a stud has sliced his fingers open. So he's off in the medical room having treatment. And apparently it's going to take a bit of repairing.
Oh, very, very painful.
We've also got to take into consideration as well is the fact that when that bust-up, a few fisticuffs were thrown at each other, which side says we will settle down onto it. I'm afraid, I think Wigan have just seemed to panic a little bit too much. Good possession, good position, not utilising it.
The fact that Carmont is off the field means that Wigan have only just got the one recognised first choice three-quarter out there at the moment. That's Pat Richards over on that far side on the wing. All the rest are either with Gleeson out, they've been replaced, and Goulding out. All had to be replaced or injured, not involved tonight. Bruff's kick is straight into the arms of Sam Tompkins. He gives it to Carl Price.
He's off form, Danny Brough. Normally you kick right into the corner and try to get some sort of a defensive line set up, but it was straight down the throat of the fullback Tompkins.
This is Liam Farrell.
Do you know, there's nothing complicated, there's nothing amazing about that. That player then, Liam Farrell's just run with the ball on his own, harder and stronger and more difficult than the blue shirts, Eddie, when they're carrying the ball. They're making 10 metres plus, even when they take it on their own without any support No secret magic, no secret formula to what they've done this year.
Tewson up the middle, spinning away, ducking out of trouble. On the ground, it finds its way in the end.
Got it right.
Paul Deacon.
Didn't get a touch. Play on.
Luluwai O'Loughlin dinks it over the top, turns Brett Hodgson around.
Not a bad kick either. They went early, they went on the fourth, but they knew they had the power. And looks like they have the strength. They're pushing Brett Hodgson back.
Warrington bound Brett Hodgson. He'll be there next year at the ripe old age of 33. There he is, last year's Man of Steel. Who'll be the successor in 2009? Will Hodgson win it again? It will all be revealed in the week of the grand final.
Well, it's down to the players these days. It's, I suppose, the one that's given the most respect and the skill factor, which, as it should be.
Back up, hold Wigan, hold.
It's going to be difficult, though. There's been some great stars this year.
Gone back.
That ball went backwards. Who wants it? Danny Brough didn't really fancy it at all, did he?
Wait, Stu, back up. 5, go.
Allowed Robinson to get to it first. That's a great kick wide. Here is Leroy Cudjoe. It suddenly opened up for Cudjoe, and he's got a phalanx of support play. He's got a load of support play. Robinson's one of them. Goes around Price, does he? Gets the ball away to Gilmore. Gilmore then over the head to Hodgson. Hodgson down the line. Luluwai trying to put him off. Hodgson! Oh, he knocked it on. So close for David Hodgson. Inventive play by Huddersfield.
Tremendous stuff. First to kick out wide, and Cudjoe on the line. Good support. Robinson. And then it was a real gamble, wasn't it? Lee Gilmore gets it away. Have a chance and then put boot to ball. Luluwai, does he just grab the arm in time? I think he just does.
Chance gone for Huddersfield. Haven't had many. Here's Coley. Just on again for Palliasina, the big man being spelled. Fielden. Well, he's the hero of the hour at the moment, Stuart Fielden, for the Wigan public anyway. O'Loughlin. Hansen. Deacon. Luluwai. Dropped the shoulder. Couldn't get the pass away. Didn't need to. Took the last tackle. Liam Farrell waits at dummy half. Up off the boot of Deacon it goes again. Richards is out there hunting this. Cudjoe's underneath it. Richards missed it, went backwards. Referee says play on. Joel Tompkins will touch down. It's a decision for Thierry Alibert, the French video referee tonight. Was it a knock on by Pat Richards? The first call from Phil Bentham was went backwards, play on. Now the picture will tell the story.
He's onside. That's one thing taken care of. Now then, Uncle Albert. Well, if he's touched it, it has gone backwards. But as he lost possession, that's what he's got to make the decision. So difficult when you just get a touch. Looks as though he's going to get the nod.
On first look, you'd say that's a try, absolutely, Steve-O.
And that's all that Thierry Alibert needed. The try is given to Joel Tompkins. Well, brother Sam grabs all the headlines, but we should not underestimate the work that this fellow does for Michael Maguire. He might well be Super League's most penalised player with 28 offences to his name prior to tonight. But he's ever present. This is his 52nd consecutive appearance here. A fantastic offloader of the football and a fantastic snipper of an opportunity here.
Beautiful high kick as well. Well, Cudjoe never made any move for it. That was not the best attempt by the Huddersfield winger. Deacon, as he has done for years, a high bomb. Well, that was just awful by Cudjoe. Never made any attempt at all. All he wanted to do was watch and see whether he could get the ball and then take the man out. When you've got two men around, you've got to go for that white thing, and it's called a ball.
Tompkins taking full advantage. He's not a member of the Wingman's fan club, Brian.
No, he's right, though. You got two choices. You either challenge for the ball or you wait till Pat Richards comes down and you try and wrap him up and wrap the ball up. I think Leroy Cudjoe, if he has his time again, he'll try and do one or the other. He got caught doing none in that instance.
Well, it's doubled the lead, and this kick from Pat Richards. Will it take Wigan to double figures? Yes, it will. That's 350 points for the season for Pat Richards. Leroy Cudjoe will not want to see that very often again.
Brian, 10 metres from your try line, what would you have done on the wing?
Well, if I tried to catch it, I would have dropped it. But what a good winger might have done is either challenge for the ball and you're up against one of the best in the game, or else wait till he grounds and you've got another defender with you and go as hard as you can and trying to wrap that ball up. Leroy Cudjoe neither challenged for the ball or neither waited for Pat Richards to get on the ground and wrap him up.
10-0 to Wigan then. We've got 4 minutes or thereabouts to half-time. It was a good job that Stuart Fielden was there then. Well, every time he touches the ball now, the Wigan crowd applaud, and he's thrown a few punches.
Well, to be fair to Stuart Fielden, we know he's not probably at the heights that he reached, you know, maybe 4 or 5 years ago when he was probably the best prop in the world. But he has had an improved season, there's no doubt about that. Michael Maguire seems to have got an extra gear out of Stuart Fielden, and one can only hope he gets to those levels that he reached, Eddie, in the past.
Absolutely, and you know, if he does, his international career might not be a thing of the past.
It's interesting when you read the programme that he says one of his greatest achievements he's asked about his career was coming to Wigan and helping them to avoid relegation. People forget, 4 years ago at this time of the year, Wigan were doing their best to avoid relegation. I think they won 10 of the last 12 games when Stuart Fielden arrived. So he's been here from the bottom up, and it'll be nice if they do lift the League Leaders' Shield, and Stuart Fielden's a part of that.
Indeed so, yes. Stuart Fielden arrived 4 years ago, about the same time as Brian Noble, and well, they survived. It was almost unthinkable that Wigan would be relegated, but they were in real danger of going down. Now Kevin Brown and Crabtree.
They really need something out of this. As the Giants have got if they've got a set pattern and they've got a penalty, this will help their cause. Get it over in the corner as quickly as possible, and set up maybe one drive, but set the move, no doubt about it. Messing around.
It didn't look like it then, did it, on the replay? But he did well to get the penalty. Did this fellow, Earl Crabtree. Now then.
Well, early in the season, Huddersfield were very happy to put set pattern moves on.
Well, that was a short ball from Robinson. It wasn't the best. It was asking an awful lot of Sean Lunt.
I don't think you realised that he was going to get it. I think he thought he was going to be the dummy runner, and he just got the sandwich. Bang.
Well, they're trying to run an awful lot of players down a very short space with some Wigan numbered up in defence. It's a hard one to pull off.
But Brian, at the start of the season, the Giants were coming out with some really fantastic moves.
I agree with you. It's just they probably didn't count the numbers properly that side. But you're right, they got some very good structured defence, Steve-O, absolutely.
Coming into the final minute of this first half, a feisty first half, plenty to talk about. We've had 3 men in the sin bin, and Michael Maguire no doubt will be talking to the Wigan players shortly, as will Nathan Brown, who we saw just a few moments ago. Here goes Sam Tompkins. Oh, he's good on his feet. Isn't he good on his feet, Sam Tompkins?
And that's why I like him playing in the full-back position, because he can just make his decision when he wants to be involved.
Luluai. Oh, that was a great bit of play by Kevin Brown initially.
Certainly
gobbled up by Brett Hodgson on the deck.
Just got his fingertips to knock it backwards. Saved the day, because Wigan had numbers out wide on the left. Well done, Kevin Brown.
Gilmore is grounded on tackle number 3. Less than 30 seconds to half-time.
Well, Nathan Brown, the Huddersfield coach, he knows that he's got to get one thing going in the second half. They've got to have a lot more fire in the belly, especially from the forwards. They're being battered.
Oh, Coley took out Earl Crabtree. Right on cue. They have been battered, he says, and Earl Crabtree was. Hodgson has it. Hodgson gets the ball away. Robinson did well to get onto that, because Chewson and Hansen were hunting. That's half-time. Well, Sam Tompkins has been blistering in attack when he's joined the line from full-back. Wigan have got 2 tries. Price and his brother Joel Tompkins. Richards has kicked a goal. Fielden's had a punch-up. He's had a spell in the bin. Mason's still off the field. Replaced by coach Kevin Brown, maybe to take the heat out of the situation. And there have been some big hits. There's been